Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar today. We're excited to get started and we'll do so over the next couple of moments, but first we have a couple of housekeeping reminders. Today's webinar is titled Working with Amazon Lex Chatbots in Amazon Connect. Throughout the entire presentation, you'll note that there's a Q&A pod so that you can submit questions for our presenter and moderators at any time. Please send anything over so they can engage with you live while those questions come in. Additionally, at the end of today's presentation, you'll see a couple of poll questions, which will precede our live Q&A process with Yasser, our presenter. So make sure to send anything over again at any time. Today's webinar is being recorded, and we will be sending a follow-up email with on-demand links to the presentation deck as well as the webinar recording. You'll receive that in the inbox of the email address that you registered for this webinar with by end of day Monday of next week. If you're interested in finding that content before then, you may do so by searching for it on YouTube and SlideShare, and make sure to follow our channel on YouTube to get all of the latest content. Without further ado, I'll introduce our presenter today. Our presenter is Yasser Al-Hagan, and we have a team of moderators standing by as well who will be able to answer questions. Again, make sure to submit any questions for them, and I'll turn it over to Yasser. Yasser, go ahead and get started.
Welcome, and thanks for joining us today. My name is Yasser Al-Hagan, and I'm a Senior Solutions Architect with AWS, specializing in Amazon Connect. In today's session, I'll be giving a brief high-level overview of Amazon Connect and Lex. Then we'll go right into building an Amazon Lex chatbot, integrate it with an Amazon Connect instance, and configure them to create a solution for a simple help desk deployment enabled with natural language understanding so that we can handle requests like, I need help with my computer, and route it to the appropriate agent for assistance. Let me tell you a little bit about Amazon Connect. Amazon Connect is a 100% cloud-based contact center service offering with pay-as-you-go pricing from AWS. There's no need to deploy hardware or manage telecom infrastructure. It's designed to be fully self-service in that you can log into your AWS Management Console, click on Amazon Connect, follow a few steps on a wizard, and in about 5 minutes, have a full contact center stack ready to use. Amazon Connect enables your business to offer dynamic, personal, and natural customer experiences using our easy-to-use contact flow editor, and I'm going to walk you through that today. Amazon Connect has an open platform model in that you own your data, and you can leverage many of the existing AWS services to customize the business and customer experience by integrating with backend systems such as CRMs, databases, or pretty much anything that has an API. And of course, there's the AWS ecosystem, which includes a large number of partners that provide all sorts of third-party integrations, as well as systems integrators and consulting partners that can assist you in deploying and configuring Amazon Connect. Now let me tell you a little bit about Lex. Amazon Lex is a new service for building conversational interfaces using voice and text. It's powered by the same deep learning technology as Alexa. It's a multi-platform service in that you can build your chatbot once and integrate that same chatbot with multiple platforms such as mobile, web, messaging platforms like Twilio SMS, Facebook, and Slack, and of course you can use it right within your contact flows in Amazon Connect to provide natural language understanding experiences in your contact center. It's designed for builders with efficient and intuitive tools to build conversational interfaces, and it's enterprise ready, meaning it's fully scalable and has versioning and alias support. It has a continuous learning model that enables you to monitor and improve your chatbot by seeing missed and matched utterances to your intents. But before we get started, I wanted to put a polling question out there for the audience. How are you using speech in your IVR today? Your options are not currently using speech, as in you're just using DTMF, using automatic speech recognition, or ASR, for things like say sales, say support, or press or say 1 for sales, and so forth, or using natural language understanding to recognize free-formed sentences, such as, I need help with my password today. I'll give you a minute to answer. All right, so let's go over the use case that we'll be covering today and actually building out. We have a help desk that needs to route technical questions and issues to different groups of agents based on skill set using full sentence natural language understanding. We're going to walk through building a contact center instance from scratch, creating an Amazon Lex chatbot, integrating it with our contact center. We'll build queues, routing profiles, and a contact flow that will bring everything together. All right, now I'll minimize my PowerPoint, and we're going to go right into the AWS console and start building. Okay, so let's start by creating our Amazon Connect instance. I'm logged into the AWS Management Console. From here, I can find Amazon Connect under the Contact Center area. I'll click on Amazon Connect. This is the management interface for Amazon Connect, where I can see all my existing instances. I'll create a new one for this presentation by clicking Add an Instance. You have the option of storing users within Amazon Connect, or we can use directory services to leverage your existing Active Directory infrastructure for single sign-on and for using your enterprise credentials. I'm going to choose to store my users within the Amazon Connect instance, and I need to use a globally unique identifier here. The next thing we're going to do is create an administrative account for our instance. We have the option of enabling or disabling incoming and outbound calls. I'll keep both of those checked. For data storage, this is where Amazon Connect is going to store your call recordings and call reports and also encrypt them in your S3 bucket. I'm going to keep the default selected and click Next. Here I can see the summary of what's going to get created for me. And like I said, in 5 easy steps, you can actually create your Amazon Connect instance. At this point, we're creating an instance. It's going to be preloaded with contact flows, with prompts for music and so forth that you can actually use in your contact center. So in the interest of time, while this is happening, we're actually going to start building our Lex chatbot. You can start using Lex by searching down here where it says artificial intelligence and clicking on Lex. I'll start by creating a bot by clicking on Create. We're going to do a custom bot for our use case today. I'll call it Help Desk. Choose an output voice. Set the session timeout for 5 minutes. And click Create. So now my chatbot is created. At this point, I want to add a couple of intents and some utterances. Essentially, the intent is what tells the Lex chatbot what somebody wants to do. So let's create an intent for computer support. And we're going to give it a few utterances to let the chatbot know what types of things someone might say that would mean that we want to get them to the computer support. So let's say my computer won't boot. I can't log into my computer. My computer is slow. I need help with my computer. Okay. Now there's lots of other things we can do with the Lex chatbot. In this use case, we're going to keep it simple. All we're trying to do is identify things that someone might say that would let us know they need help with their computer, which would get us to the computer support intent. And then in Amazon Connect, we want to queue that call to the computer support queue. So we're going to do save intent. And we'll add another one for our use case here. So we'll add another intent. And we'll call this one password reset. Let's give it some sample utterances. I need to reset my password. password has expired. And let's do, I forgot my password. All right. Now the thing with Lex, with Amazon Lex, is that you give it just a few utterances, and there's an AI model behind all of this that helps it understand other similar things that someone might say that mean the same thing. And I'll demonstrate this here in just a minute. So we'll save the intent. And now that's saved, we can build our bot. So to check the status here on our Amazon Connect instance, great, it was created. We'll come back to that in just a minute. Once the bot is built, we'll be able to actually test this right within the Lex interface to see how it's behaving and whether it's understanding the things that we want to say and identifying the correct intent. Great. So our bot has been created and built. Now let's go ahead and test it. So let's give it a couple of examples here. Let's see. I need help with my password. Great. So I said I need help with my password, and it identified the password reset intent. Notice that I didn't actually type I need help with my password in any of the utterances, but the AI figured out that this was close enough, and it understood that this is the same thing as some of the utterances that I've already entered. Let's test another one. I need my password reset. Great. Same thing. It identified the password reset intent. Now let's try a more natural way that somebody might ask the same question. I seem to have forgotten my password. Let's see what happens. Same thing. Password reset intent has been identified. Again, notice that I seem to have forgotten my password is not in any of the utterances that I've entered. And that's where the AI model comes in. Let's test the computer support one. All right, I need help with my computer. Great, computer support is working. I'm having trouble with my computer. Perfect, computer support is being identified. Great, now that we've built our chatbot, we've given it some intents, some utterances. Let's go ahead and publish it so we're ready to use it. We'll give it an alias. I'll say prod and publish. Now our chatbot is being published for actual usage. Once it's published, we can actually whitelist it in our Amazon Connect instance so that Amazon Connect and this Lex chatbot can talk to each other. To do that, I'll go back to the console and whitelist this chatbot. I can do that by going to the Amazon Connect management interface. I select the instance that I just created, right here. I click on the instance alias. And under contact flows, I can click on Add Lex Bot and select the bot that I just created, which was called Help Desk. Save Lex Bots. So now what I've done is I've taken this Lex chatbot that I just created and whitelisted it to my Amazon Connect instance so that it has permissions to talk to this chatbot. Great. The chatbot is published. Now let's start configuring Amazon Connect. We'll click on Get Started. And this is the initial getting started wizard within Amazon Connect. Notice here I'm actually logged into my actual Amazon Connect instance. So let's go. The first thing I want to do is select a phone number. So I'll select a US number. Here's one of the numbers that is available. I'll go ahead and accept that number. This is the contact control panel, which is essentially the soft phone that agents would use. Here I can see that I have my phone number assigned to me. At this point, I have a fully functional contact center that I can actually dial into. Let's start customizing it. So for our use case, we want to route password reset questions to a given set of agents. We want to route computer support issues to a different set of agents, and perhaps just generic questions to both sets of agents or a different set of agents. So we'll start by creating the queues. Over here, I can click on queues, and I'll add a new queue. For this queue, I'll call it computer support. I'll choose the hours of operation. I'll just select the basic hours of operations for now. We'll call this help desk for the outbound caller ID. We'll select the phone number, which right now, since this is a new instance, there's only one phone number. And we'll add queue. So now we've added our computer support queue. Let's add another one. We'll call this password reset. All right, same thing. Select my hours of operation, outbound number. Great, and add queue. So now we have three queues, one that came pre-built with the instance basic queue, one called computer support, and one called password reset. What we want to do now is create a profile for our agents so we can decide which calls are going to go to which agents. We're going to do that by clicking on routing profiles, and we're going to add a new profile. In this profile, we'll call it password resets. And we need to tell this profile which queues are going to be assigned to it. So we're going to assign the password reset queue. Now for these sets of agents that we'll be assigning this routing profile to, they will primarily take password reset questions. We can add a secondary queue, which is the basic queue, and give it a priority of 2, so that these agents, if they're not busy taking password reset questions, they can start accepting basic calls for the IT help desk. We'll assign the default outbound queue, password resets, and hit add new profile. Now let's do the same thing for the computer support queue, or routing profile. Computer support. Assign it the computer support queue. And for these agents, we also want them, if they're not busy taking computer support questions, to accept basic IT help desk questions. And add profile. So now we have 2 routing profiles, and essentially a routing profile allows you to decide which queues and what priorities with what delay are assigned to that profile, and then you can go assign that profile to a number of agents so that you decide which calls get to which agents. Now that we have that created, let's start creating our contact flow. The contact flows is what tells Amazon Connect what to do with a phone call. So let's create one from scratch. We'll create a new contact flow. And this is our canvas to start creating our flow. First thing I'm going to do is give it a name and save it. And now I can start telling it what I want to do with the incoming calls. So the first thing I'm going to do is maybe play a prompt. So I'll drag play prompt from the interact submenu here, connect the boxes together, And you have the option of selecting professionally pre-recorded prompts that you can actually upload to the system. But for our demonstration today, we're going to be using text-to-speech. So let's say, thank you for calling the IT help desk. Hit save. And just like that, we can create a full text-to-speech prompt. Now, Amazon Connect uses AWS Polly to speak back this text, and that's built in within Amazon Connect. So now that we've played an initial greeting, we want to ask the customer for what they need help with or what they need to do. So we'll go to Get Customer Input, connect that like so. And in this Get Customer Input block, which you can get to the settings by clicking here in the header, same thing, we'll do text-to-speech, and let's ask a question. Let's see here. What do you need assistance with today? So we want to make this as natural as possible. Now, normally, you would have DTMF. So for example, press 1 for password resets, press 2 for computer support. But what we want to do is we want to make this a natural voice experience for our callers. So we're going to integrate with Amazon Lex. We can select the Amazon Lex tab, and here we give it the bot name. So in case you forgot what your bot name is, it's right here, and I called mine Help Desk. Okay, we'll give it the alias that we created when we published our bot. I think I called mine prod. And now what we want to do is, based on what Amazon Lex returns back, whether it was the computer support intent or the password reset intent, we want to branch accordingly so we can set the right queue. The way we do that is under intents here, we'll add a parameter. And this needs to be the same name that we put in Lex. So for example, my Lex chatbot was computer support and password reset. Support, and we'll add another one for password reset and save. So now you can see that I have a Get Customer Input block that asks the question of what do you need assistance with today. It directs this feedback to my help desk chatbot, and will branch separately based on the computer support intent or the password reset intent. So now what we want to do is we want to set the right queue based on the matched intent. So we can do that by selecting Set and do the Set Queue. And connect that over here. And for this one, we'll set this one to the computer support queue. So we're matching the computer support intent, and if that's the case, we set the computer support queue. We'll do the same thing for the password reset queue. And if neither of those two intents are matched, or perhaps the default, we can either set the default and the error to the basic queue. Like this. We'll select here and set basic queue. So now we have the call coming in saying, thank you for calling the IT help desk. How may I assist you today? And based on the matched intent, we'll set the appropriate queue. Once that's set, we can play a quick prompt to the caller and just send them to that queue accordingly. So let's play a relevant prompt per queue. So for example, for the customer support queue, the computer support queue, I can say something like, got it. I'll get someone that can help you with your computer issue. For the password reset one, same Same thing, text-to-speech. Got it. I'll get someone that can help you with your password. And if neither of those are matched, rather than having something specific like computer issue or password, we'll make it a little bit more generic. So we'll say, okay, I will get a help desk associate that can help you with that. All right, so now that we have our queues set, we have our prompts, let's go ahead and transfer the call to the appropriate queue. We can do that by dragging transfer to queue and connecting all of these prompts to the transfer to queue block. Now notice here, I don't have to have multiple transfer to queue blocks. Since I've already set the queue, I can have one transfer to queue block and it will know which queue to transfer the call to. The last thing I need to do in my flow is have a disconnect or hang up block to complete my flow. And now I can do save and publish to actually activate this flow. Great. So we've created the chatbot, we tested the chatbot, we created an instance from scratch, we associated this Lex chatbot with this instance, we created our flow, we set our queues. The last thing we need to do is actually tie a phone number to this flow so we can call in and test it. Let's do that now. I can go over here, phone numbers. Here's the initial number that I had with my instance. I can click on the phone number. And now that I've published my flow, it should show up here in this dropdown. And there's my IT help desk flow. I can click on save. And now I've associated this phone number with the IT help desk flow. So if I call in, I should experience my new flow. Let's give it a test run and see how it works. I'm going to dial the number, 978-965-4648, and I'll put my phone on speaker here and we'll test it out.
Thank you for calling the IT help desk. What do you need assistance with today?
I need help with my computer.
Got it. I'll get someone that can help you with your computer issue. Thank you for calling. Your call is very important to us and will be answered in the order it was received.
Great. So I asked for computer support and I heard the prompt that said I'll have somebody help you with your computer. So I know that the Lex chatbot correctly identified that I needed help with my computer and put me in the computer support queue. I can call back in and test the password reset one. Let's give it a go.
Thank you for calling the IT help desk. What do you need assistance with today?
I seem to have forgotten my password.
Got it. I'll get someone that can help you with your password. Thank you for calling. Your call is very important to us and will be answered in the order it was received.
Great. So I called in, asked for computer support, and I see that it played the prompt associated with the computer support queue. And when I asked for a password or help with my password, and notice I said I seem to have forgotten my password, which was also not entered as any of the utterances in the Lex chatbot, it correctly identified that and put me in the according queue. So we've tested the computer support and password reset experiences. Now I know I went kind of fast through this demonstration, but it will be published on our YouTube channel, so you can always go back and play it again. Thanks for attending. I hope you guys found this useful, and now we can open it up for questions. But before we do that, let me ask you another polling question. So now that you've seen how easy it is to incorporate speech and natural language understanding within your contact center, how likely are you to consider using Amazon Connect and Amazon Lex to create a natural language scenario for your business? You have options for very likely, somewhat likely, or not likely. We appreciate your answers.